TIFU by trying to bring my girlfriend breakfast in bed and destroying my body instead by use of Ricky Rapid rope. My girlfriend and I just moved in together, and I had the brilliant idea to wake up early last weekend and make her breakfast in bed. Real wholesome shit. I made pancakes, scrambled eggs, coffee. Even warmed the place like I saw in some Gordon Ramsay video. I was proud. I get everything onto a tray and start walking up the stairs. What I didn't realize is that our cat had left one of her little rubber mouse toys right on the third step. One of those tiny bastard ones that looks like lint until it's under your foot. I step on it. Instantly lose my footing. Tray launches. Food is airborne. I go down like a sack of wet laundry. Pancakes fly. Coffee explodes on the wall. I hit the bottom of the stairs in a twisted pile of regret and syrup. My girlfriend runs out of the bedroom like she just heard a home invasion. She finds me groaning on the floor, holding my wrist with a pancake stuck to my back like some kind of domestic shuriken. I tell her I think I broke something. We go to the ER. X-rays confirm fractured wrists. A nurse doesn't even react when I explain what happened. Just writes it down and moves on like she has heard this exact story before, which honestly makes it worse. Now my wrist is in a brace, my girlfriend has banned surprises of any kind, and the cat is still loose, presumably planning her next attack. 10/10 would not recommend. TLDR, tried to be sweet, stepped on a cat toy, flew down the stairs, broke my wrist, and now I am banned from being thoughtful. TIFU by accidentally reprogramming the Call Mickey Mouse button on the Disney Store phone to auto-call my dad at work. When I was about 15, I was at a Disney store in a mall, and one of the features was a phone that you could call different Disney characters from and then have fake/pre-recorded conversation with that character. While I was using it, I noticed the cover was loose, and when I pulled it up I saw it was just a normal phone underneath. So I did what any dumbass kid would do and dialed my dad's work number and said hi. I didn't mention I was at the Disney store or the way I had called him. He was mildly annoyed and the short call ended. If only he knew what was coming. In actuality, by dialing his number I had unknowingly reprogrammed the Mickey Mouse button to call my dad at work. So I walk away and go about my afternoon. Important to note, this was early 1990s and very much pre-cell phone. Meaning until I got home several hours later there was no way to contact me. And over those few hours, every few minutes my dad's work phone would ring, and a cute little kid would say to my dad, "Does Mickey have a message for me?" Well, the first few times my dad was just confused and hung up. But it didn't stop. In fact, the frequency began to pick up. And my dad, assuming he was being relentlessly pranked while he was trying to work, finally just lost his cool and yelled into the phone at some poor kid, "Yeah, Mickey has a message for you, fuck OFF." Needless to say, the call stopped. I assumed someone reported that to the store and they got it sorted. But when he told me the story later that evening, I just burst out laughing. Then I explained everything. It would be a lie to say he immediately saw the humor in it, but he certainly does now. TLDR, I sent all the Mickey Mouse calls from a phone at a Disney store to my dad at work. Edit horse fixed to burst. For those doubting the story, it is 100% true. TIF update. So yesterday I posted how I have fucked up by deleting my wife's Animal Crossing island in a failed transfer. She was very sad, but I promised her I'd start my own island and play with her so she wouldn't have to rebuild herself. When I went to start my own island, Tom Nook told me he had some old save data he didn't know what to do with. Turns out it was my wife's island. I went in on her account, enabled backup, and let it do its thing. The backup saved overnight and she was able to log into her island this morning with everything still intact. Not much more to share really. Thanks to everyone who was wishing me well and gave advice on how to recover it. TL Doctor. I was able to recover my wife's deleted island, and her and my BF are visiting each other's island right now. TIFU by being brutally honest with a couple asking me about adoption. My husband and I adopted 2 kids from foster care several years ago. We got married in our 30s, waited a few years and tried to have a baby unsuccessfully, and decided our IVF money would be better spent on a child that actually existed instead of the imaginary baby that we may or may not have been able to have. Our kids are full siblings. One is medically complex and the other is emotionally complex. Our adoption story is beautiful, but it is the Disney version of adoption through foster care. We were almost supernaturally lucky in how easy and fast everything went. I have been asked about our experience several times in the last few years, and I tell every single person that our story is not typical. It is the TV movie version of real life and definitely should not be the only research that a couple does before taking the plunge. My mom met a woman who was dealing with infertility issues and shared with her that I am knowledgeable about adoption and sent her my way. So I gave her our story, the Disney spiel, and brought up some of the uglier sides of adoption to make sure that I made my point. I guess that was enough to scare her husband off of adoption. Period. Totally took it off the table. The woman who I didn't even know before this is mad at me and thinks I ruined her chances to be a mom, and my mom says that maybe I shouldn't have been quite so candid. I feel like absolute crap. The thing is that what I told them was pretty mild. Reality is harsh, but I wasn't trying to traumatize anyone. I just wanted to make sure that I wasn't misleading them. So now I am our tiny town's biggest asshole. TLDR, infertile lady asked me about adoption. I answered honestly, and now her husband refuses to adopt. TIFU by changing my alarm sound to one that is naturally occurring by user JDCMH. The actual FU was done a few weeks ago, and I just realized it this morning at 4:30 am. After years of using the same alarm sound, a compilation of Alexis saying David and you are David and the like from the show Schitt's Creek, I decided I wanted to wake up to something more positive sounding. So I reviewed the mostly mechanical, synthesized sounds that came with my Samsung phone and selected one called Bird Song that starts softly and crescendos and was a pleasant way to gently wake up for several days, definitely better than hearing my name repeated over and over with slight disdain. I've enjoyed this and have quickly acclimated myself to this new sound. Now you need to know that it was cold the last couple of weeks, and so the window in the bedroom was closed. It's an old house, but the windows are pretty solid, which prevents a lot of outside noise disturbing my sleep. This week it's been warmer enough so that opening the window makes for a comfortable getting to sleep environment. And it's quiet enough that falling asleep is easy. But I've also woken up a bit early the last few days. I'm tired during the day, and even more tired at night, and the cycle has repeated like this for several days. I have been completely confused as to why I suddenly can't seem to sleep later than 4:30 am, and this morning I realized why. The birds outside start chirping sometime close to 4 am and have woken me up every day this week, 2.5 hours before my alarm, which I will now be changing to something mechanical and synthesized. TLDR, I set my alarm sound to emulate birdsong, and now I've been awoken every day way too early by actual birdsong.